Hey folks, my name is Pat Hasburgh and I am the owner of DNS Bait Tackle and Fly Shop on Madison's fashionable north side. Tonight I'm going to be tying a mayfly pattern for you that was developed by my friend John Gribb. It's a mayfly with a downturned hook and an extended body. It's made out of Z-lon fibers and is pretty straightforward to tie, and but very realistic looking and very effective. So I look forward to showing it to you. Let's crack a beer and get started. Cheers. Alright, so you can buy Mayfly Tails in the store in packets. My friend John Gribb taught me about a little hack here. You can buy this spool. It's just craft ribbon. You can get it basically any craft store. This shiny stuff is what John likes to use, so that's what I use. And what you do is you just cut a little chunk off, and you got this is a wired edge ribbon just for crafting. And you cut a little chunk off like so, and you come along the top edge, trim off this wire out of here like that. Then you're going to have a bunch of these fibers that you want to pull off like that, and that exposes these little fibers in here. You can see them. So, and it just kind of holds them there kind of nice, and then when you're ready to use one for a fly, you just grab on the end here and pull one off, and it's in a perfect little V shape. I'm trying to separate it here for you. And so you got, it's a perfect little V that you can tie, uses your tails, but they're, you know, separated there. Nice little tail. So you can go to your fly shop and you can buy a bunch of these in packets, or you can go to a craft store and you can buy a roll of this and have more of these than you'll ever use in your entire life. So that's how I like to do it. They're, I think one of these rolls of ribbon costs $2-3 at the craft store, but it's great little hack for cheap materials. All right, so what I'm using here to tie this is a size 16 dry fly Nymph, curved Nymph hook, and what I do is I bend the top portion of it here just down to a 90-degree angle. I just put it in my little hemostat, bend like that, and then that's as easy as it is. Just got a nice little place there to tie your fly. And we'll trap it in the vise. Alright, so we got our hook in the vise. We're going to use thread here that I use is a Sheer brand 14-aught thread. It's very thin but also very strong, and it works great for this application. So we'll just tie in normally just up to where the bend is there in the hook. Come back just a tad. Then tie in this material is Z-lon. It's a blend that I mix up. It's kind of a bright yellow with dark brown, just to give it the color that I wanted. But of course, Z-lon is comes in rainbow of colors, and you can use this pattern and tie any number of color combos you like. But this pattern that I tie is one that I like for late summer. you know, July through October around here is good. So we'll just tie it on. You can leave a bunch coming out pointing out the end of the same end as the eye, and I'll just tie it on there, just a couple wraps, and then we're gonna bring in our handy dandy ribbon, Mayfly tail ribbon pieces here, and just pull one off. Get a nice V shape on the tail to make the tail. Stick it on your thread there. So I've got that just mounted right on the thread. Tie it right down. One loop over is good. And then once you got it in there, you're gonna bunch all this stuff up together. Hold it with your one hand. And then we're gonna start wrapping over the body behind the hook. And there's a little trick to this. It's gonna frustrate you at first, but you come over and you gotta flip your bobbin over the end of your vise, like so. And you just keep doing that. That flip is gonna take a little bit of practice for you. It's gonna probably frustrate you. I use this beginner style fly vise because it doesn't have all the handles and stuff that come with your higher end vices. But we're just gonna keep doing this and kind of build up a body, trying to keep your wraps, you know, pretty evenly spaced. And we'll go up 5 or 6 to 8 wraps around. Get one more. And then we're gonna just tie a couple around up here on the end to kind of secure it, like so. Then we're gonna head back down the abdomen. So we're wrapping back over, trying to fit into the little grooves that you made with the first wrap. Working on that finger flip. Get it down, get it back down to the hook, and I'll, for good measure, bring it around once underneath. And there you got your abdomen pretty much tied in. Now we're gonna grab the wing here, pull it up like this, and we're just gonna build a head around this. Try to pinch this wing so it sticks straight up like so. This is I like these Whiting Farms 100 packs. This is size 18, a blue winged olive, kind of that gray slate color. And what I do is when I'm starting these, flare out some of these fibers, and then I come in with the scissors and just try to trim out so you get a nice kind of a post sticking out. So if you can see that, then you can just kind of stick that post right in here, give a wrap up on the back side a couple times, pull your wing up, wrap it on the front side a couple times, maybe one more on the back for good measure. Make sure it's nice and tight, give it a little tug. Grab your hackle pliers, pinch back here somewhere, and then we're just gonna wrap the hackle around the post. And when I go around, I dip the feathers down, I come up over the hook, I dip the feather down, come back up over the eye, dip the feather down, come back up over the hook. And what you're doing here when you're doing that is keeping the feathers from lying on top of one another and getting all crowded. So we got that. I wrap around 3-4 times. And then I'll come with my thread, just kind of work it in here, in around the post, go down with your thread, work it in between the fibers, go around. I just go around the post once, kind of park your thread there, come in with your scissors, trim off this extra hackle. Then the old handy dandy whip finisher, give it 1, maybe 2 loops around. Doesn't have to be really more than 1 because I glue all my knots like so. So that's tied in. Clip that off. Now we clean up the fly. So what you got to do here is try to find your Mayfly tails. Just you got to kind of sometimes dig them out of this hair, but you separate them there. And grab one, grab the other, and I pull them in opposite directions so that they kind of go off to the side like that, and they'll stick up. Come in here with your scissors, clip off your excess. So always a kind of a high intensity moment. Get those clipped off, then you come in and you get your wing up here. I give it a little twist like this so it stands up and it's kind of compacted. Then what you're going to do is grab it with this hand, but you're going to come down on it at a pretty sharp angle to get that nice kind of sail look to the fly. So you come in, pinch it like this, and give it a trim there, clip off some of these little extras. You fluff that up a little bit. It's a nice little wing, nice little hackle. Now the nice thing about this fly, with the tail how it is and how it's threaded through the body, you can grab your tail fibers, you give it a little tug, but you can tug on it and push down with your scissors, and it kind of gives it that nice curve that you see mayflies when they're hatching. They're trying to lift their body off the water, and so they got their abdomen up and they're trying to take off. So it makes it, when you're on a hatch, it's good for that. Sometimes mayflies are dying and the spinner they're falling on the water. So if that's the case, you can just grab your tail here and just kind of tease it out, and it gets rid of that curve. And it'll lay flat, sort of just like the spinner fall for the mayflies. I will trim this off to about like so, just to give it a more realistic length. I do like, when I finish them, I do like it when they have a little curve on them. It looks more mayfly-ish. But that's pretty much it. And take her off. I glue my knots, like I said. I use this plastic surgery brand super glue. Get it at the hardware store. It's got this nice applicator tip. Get right in there and just a little drop of glue right on your knot. And there you have it.
All right, Pat, let's address the elephant in the room here and explain to everybody what the downturned hook is all about.
Well, the downturned hook idea was something developed by my friend John Gribb. Ultimately, the downturned hook serves as a keel, like on a sailboat for the fly. So fly hits the water, that hook straightens the fly and sets it right so it's straight up and down for a perfect presentation on the water. I'm sure it's happened to a lot of people when you're out and you cast a fly out, perfect cast, fly lands on its side, and your drift is pretty much screwed. So what this does is kind of prevent that and make for a great presentation. If it does happen to land on its side, you just give your line a little tug and that fly will pop right back up. The other bonus to this downturn hook design is that when you hook a fish, I'd say 80% of the time that hook is right in the corner of the fish's mouth. So a lot better for catch and release, and a lot less trauma for the fish. So on both fronts, it's really a superior design to traditional flies, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I've known of John's flies for a while, and they are certainly special, and I'm a bit surprised they haven't really caught on mainstream yet. But maybe this will be it for it.
That's right. This is the big time.
That's
now.
Right. Yeah. So tell everyone when you like to fish this.
Well, it's a mayfly pattern, so year round. You can fish it in March and you can fish it in October. It just really depends on what materials you use and colors. I tie it down to a size 20 for a little midge imitation. and you can tie it all the way up to the big hex flies with some foam. I like to use for those, but it's super versatile and very realistic, and really just a great fly.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, is there anything else you want to add to this?
One thing that I do want folks to know about is once you tie the fly, you can do this or do it on the stream is when I like to do it. But take your fly out of the vise when all's tied up. You're going to want to take your hemostat and just grab onto the tip of the hook right there and just tweak the hook tip off to the right or the left. It doesn't matter which way, but tweaking it off to the side is going to increase your hookup percentage at least by double. And in fact, if you forget to do that on the stream, and you'll notice that you're missing strikes. You'll still hook fish, but you'll miss a few. So if that's the case, you just look at your hook tip, tweak it off to the side, and almost every strike you're going to get a good hookup on that. So just got to remember to tweak the hook tip off to the side.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing it with us.
Yeah, happy to.
All right, folks, that does it for this episode of Drinking with Scissors. Thanks for tuning in, and be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with more Drinking with Scissors episodes. Also, do yourself a favor and head on over to blackearthangling.com to see all the awesome things we're up to. Until next time, cheers.